Greytide Studios is an awesome company. They produce 3D printed parts to stick onto generic Space Marines so they line up more with some of the other chapters of Space Marines out there and make them look absolutely incredible. So far they've done Dark Angels, Black Templars, Blood Angels, Space Wolves. Now they're moving on to Salamanders. They've got some stuff for Ultramarines, they've got some stuff for Legions of the Damned, and a few other bits and pieces out there. They're really, really cool. And whenever they do a big set of parts and they really go specific, they do an entire set of armor to bolt on top of a Redemptor Dreadnought to make it sit more with that team. So far, they've done 5 sets of these armor, and so far I've done 4 of them. The only one I'm missing is the Dark Angels one, and at some stage I'm gonna have to go back because it was actually the first one that they brought out and get it done. So going from the first one I did, which was the Black Templar Dreadnought, we moved on to the Blood Angels Dreadnought. Then we went on to the Space Wolves Dreadnought. And then now with the latest batch, what's just been released is the extra set of armor for the Salamanders, giving you a fully Salamander style Redemptor Dreadnought. I've converted this one a little bit with a different gun, but we'll get to that bit later in the video. So yeah, I really enjoyed doing it, and I just love Dreadnoughts. I think I've got about 50 of them now at this stage. That was my 13th Redemptor Dreadnought I did for this video, and I love it. What I will reiterate for this video is, though, the model has an extremely long, ugly phase. So for the first 2/3 of this video, you are going to be saying, what the hell are you doing to that poor Dreadnought? I tried some experimentation. Maybe it didn't really work. Maybe I had to fix it up a little bit later on. But by the end of it, we do get to a nice result, I promise. So please be patient, sit back and enjoy this video. Okay, usually I save this particular clip for the very end for the grand reveal style thing, or the grand reveal, or however you want to say it. But I figured I should show it off at the start because this video is genuinely, the model looks awful for so much of it. So there you go. That's what it's going to look like. That's what we're going to work towards. So obviously it's a Redemptor Dreadnought that we are going to be kind of building off of. That's what the upgrade parts are supposed to go on it. But I did actually grab an Invictus Warsuit, mainly because it has a big Dreadnought arm that is, of course, a giant flamer, which of course suits the Salamanders aesthetic a lot more than Plasma or the Gatling cannon. So yeah. Me and my friends are quite chill when it comes to gaming, or I just don't care what they think. So I will actually just play this as a Redemptor Dreadnought, and I will use the profile for the Invictus Warsuit Flamer. No one will really care. We're a bit of chill like that, so it's okay. So I printed up some parts. I also printed up some large scale bases. These are actually the 32mm bases for the Greytide Studios Salamander parts. And I think the next edition has the next batch actually has some larger bases, but I don't have access to that full set yet. I just have the large scale armor for the Dreadnought. So I just bumped up the scale of those bases to fit Dreadnought, and it actually worked out really well for giving me a really nice kind of lava base with some stuff. I've printed out all the parts, and as you can see, these parts are crispy. They are so perfect. I used a Haygears printer for this. If anyone knows what a Haygears printer is, you'll know you get absolutely stunning results with it. So yeah, I printed out all the parts that I need, plus a bunch more just to test out and try out and see if they fit. Like for instance, I really wanted to put this kind of big ornament piece on the top, but that would be directly in the way of the missile launcher, so it didn't in the end up kind of going on it. But this is the Dreadnought all fully assembled with all the parts glued on. I just monoposed it, glued it all solid, no messing about, no sub-assembly, just going in raw from here and giving it a go and seeing if we can make it work. It's going to be a bit of a pain, but yeah. So I actually typed into Google how to paint some Salamanders because I really struggle with, I think I struggle with greens that aren't natural, if that makes sense to you. Like I can paint them khaki or olive drab or orc skin or anything like that. I'm very good, well I feel like I'm very good at painting up those styles of greens, no problem. You want me to paint a Cadian army? Done. But when it comes to things like Dark Angels armor and Salamanders armor, I struggle a little bit. I don't know what it is, I'm just not very good at it. So I Googled a recipe which started with doing a double contrast and then it was just 2 layers of edge highlighting. I thought that was going to be the way to do it, but I ended up really not liking the result halfway through. After the double contrast went on, I decided to just revert back to my style of painting, which is getting the rest of the base coats on, shading the entire model down, and then just building up the colors as well. So although I use Corandris green here, and then of course we move over to Warp Lightning green in a moment, you could probably have just gone to, you know, 1 solid coat of Warp Lightning and then shaded it down. So you can really skip the Corandris green. If you like the result that I got at the end of the video, you want to kind of copy along with that, then yeah, I'd say leave off the first contrast, just throw the second one on, and then we'll kind of go from there. So like I said, Greytide Studios has a new bundle out, which is an expansion to the last bundle that they did. So we got the Anvil Wardens Pack 1 a couple of months ago, and that obviously gives you everything you need to kind of upgrade any infantry models, whether you want to make kind of Vanguard or Stern Guard or any of the intercessors, whatever, with some cool upgrade parts, then you can do it. Now they're bringing out an Anvil Wardens Pack 2, which is going to go for some of the larger scale models, so you're going to get all the Dreadnought parts you need, Terminator parts, awesome banners, and some other cool bits and pieces like that. So it's very cool. I will link Greytide Studios down in the description below. You can go check them out for yourself and get yourself some upgrade parts for your Salamanders armies. I'm also going to take this quick note just to say I apologize for my voice. I know it's a little raspy. I'm actually just coming off the end of an illness. I'm doing my very best, but it is a slight struggle, so I do apologize. So as you can see, I am getting my way through the rest of the base coats. We have all the green on, we have all the black contrast on, and now we're moving on to Skeleton Horde for all of the bone bits. So obviously, there's a big kind of Drake skull kind of tied to the side of his shoulder pad. That's very synonymous with Salamanders. There is large kind of fire drakes living in the kind of under caverns where the Salamanders live. Some of them are like Titan size. They're kind of awesome. Flesh Tears Red was then used for some of the red details, which of course is his huge big kind of Drake dragon pelt that he has over his other shoulder pad. And then we also decided to go with it for the straps holding on the skull, just for a bit of kind of symmetry on both sides. And then any cables for like feeding fuel to flamers. He's got an underslung flamer on his fist arm as well. And then obviously the large flamer on the other side. We're going to do that in red as well. Some Retributor armor gold was then brought in for all of the filigree and nice edge detailing that exists on this armor. This will take a little bit of time, but it is worth it to take your time, fine pointed brush, brace your hands, your arm, and just try and be as steady as possible and get those awesome base coats on. It's kind of starting to come together now, but it's still looking a little awful, but we will fix it, I promise. Lead Belcher was then brought in for all the other metallic details, so kind of bolts holding panels together. He's got these grills on his kind of shin or knee pads. Obviously those little bolters built into his chest, the exhaust vents, a lot of the chains and stuff. So there's a few bits and pieces, so please do take your time if you're going around the Dreadnought and finding all those different details. And then we decided to go for Balthazar gold for the kind of casings on the end of the flamer. They don't really look good in gold. They don't really look good in silver. Brass is really what they look good in. So we're going to kind of continue on with that trend. Flamer barrels are supposed to be this color. Don't ask me why. It's just a thing that everyone in the community does. So yeah, we're going to do that. Okay, with the model all base coated and ready to go, we're going to be grabbing some shades. Now I do hold up Reikland Flesh Shade and Null Oil. My intention was to use the Reikland on all the gold, but in the end I started with the Null Oil and I just continued across the entire model. So you can just scrap the Reikland Flesh Shade out of that shot and just Null Oiled the entire model from top to bottom. While the shade was drying across that model, I took some time to get some base colors on or actually just get some paint on the base of the model. So I got the gray kind of flagstones and the kind of old metal kind of bar stopping the lava or the molten bit from coming through. I got that painted up very quickly and ready to go. I'll do some airbrushing of some lava effect at the very end of the video. And here's where I decided to just revert back. Like I said, I null oiled the whole model, and then I grabbed Warp Stone Glow and I very meticulously went for 2 thin glazed coats across the entire green armor just to pull the color back towards looking like something that a salamander would wear. And like I said, this was much more in my wheelhouse. I do not mind these kind of long sessions of layering. Don't know what it is, I just enjoyed it. I find it very therapeutic, especially on a single model like this, to just go around and build up those colors and make it look a little bit more kind of green and not a little bit more kind of blotchy and stained, which is what it currently looks like. So I did that and I was left with, I thought, a much nicer result of green armor. Obviously it was looking a little bit flat, so we will carry it across and do the edge highlighting like I talked about. So As it stands, it still looks kind of a lot nicer and a lot more like Salamanders, but we are going to grab a moot green for the first edge highlight. I'm going to play this down all the sharper details across the armor. This is going to be like an 80% edge highlight. So 80% of the kind of edges and corners and stuff that you have on the entire model is going to get covered by a coat of the moot green, which is obviously the majority of the armor. Even in between all those different grills, we're going to be working up that edge highlight inside those. And this will, of course, add a lot of depth, a lot of kind of definition to the armor panels. And as you can see, my fingers are braced across the model. It's never like a floating hand holding the brush, especially for an edge highlight. That just wouldn't work at all. After that, we're going to go for phalanx yellow. And this is, I'd say like a 30% edge highlight. So 30% of the surfaces are now going to get touched up with a little bit of yellow. And you can see I'm just adding a small bit to these areas and moving on to the next one very quickly. This will add a real nice kind of pop of color and really make that armor stand out. So this is on all the kind of sharp edges and corners and stuff of the panels. That's what you want to hit with that phalanx yellow. And when you have it done, you have what I think is quite a nice green colored armor, and I think it looks quite salamandery. I'd love to know in your comments whether you thought I made the right decision by shifting to this style and what you think of this colored armor as a salamander. Do you think this works, or do you think I made a mess of it? It's okay to say either or in the comments. I've just got some thick skin. It is a-okay. While you're down there in the comments slating me, please do take 2 minutes out of your day and make sure that you obviously subscribe to the channel and you give the video a like and drop some comments. Those 3 things, obviously they cost you absolutely nothing, make a huge difference as to how many people see the videos and how quickly the channel grows. And if you want to help support the channel even further, you can obviously check out Patreon down below. There's a whole host of different reasons to get involved with Patreon, whether you just want to hang out with a really cool group of people on the private Discord server. We host a bunch of events over there like painting competitions and community showcases. It's always a good time. Whether you want more content from me, we post an extra video every single week for the patrons. They get access to the Mediocre Hobbies podcast. And also we do giveaways every single month. We gave away a Night Titan, we gave away an airbrush and a compressor. And this month we are giving away a really nice start to a Grey Knights army. So you'll get 10 Grey Knight Terminators and 10 Grey Knights in power armor. One lucky patron will win that and get that sent directly to their front door anywhere in the world. And all you have to do to be win a chance is to be a member of the Patreon at any tier. Check out those below. As you can see, I'm going through the motions of getting the rest of the kind of parts of this model layered up. Working on all of the bone. The gold is starting to look really nice. We've layered up the black areas. And genuinely, this is the bit where I was, once the green was done and I was working on those other kind of details, I felt like the model was worth my time. I felt like I was going places with it and I was starting to really like the result of it. Salamanders have actually always quietly been one of my kind of favorite Space Marine chapters. I think in order it goes Imperial Fists, then it's probably Blood Angels, and then it's probably Salamanders after that. I always knew that at some point in my hobby career, hobby life, I would own a Salamanders army. So doing project like this is really good because I just get to put these away and be like, well, I've already done a little bit here and there, so I'll get to take out these awesome models and add them to a nice army at some stage in the near future. This dragon skull is massive though, so I did have to take my time layering it up. Fist on red, Evil Sun Scarlet, and Wild Rider red are the 3 colors I decided to go for all of those red details. So like I said, the Drake pelt across his left hand or right hand, depending on if you're looking at it stage-wise or not. I went for each individual scale and layered them up. You could have dry brushed this bit, but I didn't want to hit anything else. And like I said, there's fuel cables and then there's obviously canisters on the side of the flamer as well that I've decided to do in red. Just overemphasize the idea of it being kind of fire. And like I said, I'm glad I decided to go for the straps holding on the skull as well. That obviously makes a huge difference in kind of balancing out that red tone. And never forget the missile tips coming out over the top of his head. We did those in the red as well, of course. Now, like I said, I actually am doing the lava base now. I've never done a lava base before. Never. So I started by kind of adding a rich brown color to the base. I didn't want to start with white. Then I fed it in with some red. I generally kept it this kind of same direction. I oversprayed a little bit. I wanted that kind of glow effect on the kind of edge of the pit that he's standing on. And obviously carried it on down that channel as well. It wasn't difficult. I don't think it's a very impressive lava base. I'm not really sure of the correct process. I just kind of went with my gut. I went through my red, orange, yellow, and white just to make it, at some ways, look molten-y. You can tell me in the comments below as well if you think I pulled this off, or how I was supposed to make the lava base look better. Was I supposed to add gloss varnish to it afterwards to make it like shiny? Is that what you do with lava? I don't really know. It looked really nice after the yellow. I was very tempted to leave it here. But I did decide to go on with a very kind of light coat of white. After it dried, the yellow dulled a little bit and it just wasn't as kind of poppy. As you can see, I'm going quite light with the white, just around the edges, a little bit down the middle. We rim the base black. And then we will call this new Salamanders Redemptor Dreadnought from the Andal Wardens Pack 2 from Greytide Studios complete. This is the final result of the Dreadnought. I hope you liked the torturous amount of effort that I went through to get this done in a single day. I worked for 14 hours straight. Here is my Black Templar one. Also Greytide Studios if you want to check it out. My Blood Angels one. Also from Greytide Studios. And of course my Space Wolf one, also from Greytide Studios. Thank you guys so much for sticking around at the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it and I can't wait for you to see the next video. Bye bye.